Timmy was a 12-year-old boy with a very special dog named Jimmy. Jimmy wasn't like other dogs. Jimmy could talk. He spoke in riddles, which made things very interesting for Timmy. Every morning, Timmy woke up excited to hear Jimmy's riddle. "What has an eye but cannot see?" Jimmy barked one sunny morning. Timmy scratched his head. "I don't know, Jimmy, tell me." "A needle," Jimmy barked happily, wagging his tail. Timmy loved these morning riddles. He knew that after the riddle, Jimmy would tell him about their adventure for the day. "Today," Jimmy said, his tail thumping on the floor, "we are going to the Haunted Jellybean Forest." "The Haunted Jellybean Forest?" Timmy repeated, his eyes wide. "What's that?" "It's a magical place," Jimmy explained. "It's full of surprises." Timmy was excited. He loved surprises. He quickly grabbed his adventure backpack and filled it with snacks. He knew that a trip to a magical forest would require lots of energy. Timmy and Jimmy set off on their adventure, eager to see what the Haunted Jellybean Forest had in store for them. The Haunted Jellybean Forest was everything Jimmy described and more. It was a place where imagination came to life, and every corner held a new surprise. The trees were not just ordinary trees. They were made of giant lollipops, each one more colorful than the last. The path was lined with these sweet towering treats, making it feel like they were walking through a candy wonderland. Trees made of giant lollipops lined the path, their vibrant colors shimmering in the sunlight. Each lollipop tree seemed to have its own unique flavor, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of sugar. Fluffy cotton candy clouds floated above them, casting a soft pastel glow over the entire forest. The clouds were so close that it felt like you could reach up and grab a handful of the sugary fluff. The air smelled like freshly baked cookies, a comforting aroma that made their mouths water. It was as if the forest itself was baking a batch of cookies just for them. "Wow!" Timmy gasped, his eyes wide with wonder. "This place is amazing. I've never seen anything like it." His excitement was contagious, and soon everyone was grinning from ear to ear. As they walked deeper into the forest, they encountered all sorts of unusual creatures. Each step brought a new discovery, and the forest seemed to be alive with magic. There were giggling mushrooms with top hats, their laughter echoing through the trees. These mushrooms seemed to be having the time of their lives, dancing and twirling in the breeze, and singing flowers with rainbow petals, their voices harmonizing in a beautiful melody. The flowers swayed to the rhythm of their song, creating a mesmerizing display of color and sound. A little blue creature with wings zipped past them, leaving a trail of sparkles in its wake. It moved so quickly that it was almost a blur, but the sparkles it left behind lingered in the air, adding to the enchantment of the forest. "This is the best adventure ever!" Timmy exclaimed, grinning from ear to ear. His joy was infectious, and everyone felt the same sense of wonder and excitement. The Haunted Jellybean Forest was truly a magical place, and they couldn't wait to see what other surprises it had in store for them. Suddenly, a large gingerbread man hopped into their path. He was unlike any gingerbread man Timmy and Jimmy had ever seen. His icing was intricately designed, and he had a presence that demanded attention. He wore a crown that sparkled with sugar crystals and a grumpy frown that made him look both regal and intimidating. "Halt!" he boomed, his voice echoing through the whimsical landscape. "I am the Cake King, and you must answer my riddle to pass." His voice was so powerful that it made the candy trees shake. Timmy's heart pounded like a drum. He loved riddles, but this one seemed serious, almost like a test of their worthiness. He glanced at Jimmy, who looked equally nervous but determined. "What has a head and a tail but no body?" the Cake King bellowed, his eyes narrowing as he awaited their response. The question hung in the air, heavy with anticipation. Timmy thought hard, his mind racing through possibilities. He looked at Jimmy, but Jimmy just tilted his head, waiting. Then it hit him like a bolt of lightning. "A coin!" Timmy shouted, his voice filled with excitement and relief. The Cake King grinned, his grumpy frown disappearing in an instant. "Correct! You may pass!" he declared, his voice now warm and welcoming. He stepped aside with a grand gesture, allowing Timmy and Jimmy to continue on their adventure. The path ahead seemed even more magical now, filled with endless possibilities and new challenges to conquer. Finally, after a long and adventurous journey, they reached a magnificent castle made entirely of jelly beans. The castle shimmered in the sunlight, with every color of the rainbow reflecting off its sugary walls. It was a sight to behold, a true masterpiece of candy architecture. This had to be it, the legendary Jellybean Castle. the place where dreams and wishes were said to come true. Inside the castle, they were greeted by the Jellybean Queen herself. She stood at the top of a grand staircase, her presence commanding yet kind. She was beautiful, with flowing hair made of licorice whips and a sparkling gown of sugar crystals that caught the light with every movement. Her eyes twinkled like stars, and her smile was as sweet as the candy she was made of. "Welcome," she said, her voice like tinkling bells, echoing through the grand hall. "You have journeyed far and faced many challenges to be here. You have solved the riddles and braved the enchanted forest, showing great courage and wisdom," she continued, her eyes filled with admiration. "As a reward for your bravery and cleverness, you may each have a wish," the Jellybean Queen declared, raising her hands in a magical gesture. Timmy's heart raced with excitement. He knew exactly what to wish for. He had always dreamed of more adventures with his best friend, Jimmy. "I wish for more adventures with Jimmy," Timmy exclaimed. The Jellybean Queen smiled warmly. "So be it," she said, her voice filled with magic and promise. And so, Timmy and Jimmy continued to have many more exciting adventures, each one more thrilling than the last. They always started with a riddle, a test of their wit and bravery, and ended with a smile, knowing that the Jellybean Queen was watching over them, ready to grant their wishes and make their dreams come true.